Okay, in this last segment for this little truth testing blip, we're going to talk about discernment as a starseed. Now, I think most of us at this point have listened to at least one YouTuber or been in one Facebook group, or we've maybe received advice from somebody that we weren't sure felt right, but because that person was more experienced than us, we may have automatically aligned with it and tried to make it true. One of the issues when we do this is we bypass our own knowing. And when we oftentimes throw our knowing into the hands of somebody else, whether or not that person is already ridiculously good at what they do, we disempower self. And so, what we want to do instead is use discernment and take the pieces that resonate and fit for us and leave the rest. Now, one of the activities I would give you guys to try this with is to find a YouTuber you really enjoy listening to, especially if they're a channeler. I don't want to drop names, but if you guys need tips on this, make sure you message or ask me in the group. I can give you some ideas. There are some channelers out there who get really, really good information, and then they'll have a blip inside their data where the channel actually gets hijacked. And when the channel gets hijacked, it's another being from another dimensional frequency coming in and moderating the words and riding on the ego thoughts of the channeler and allowing that through into the transmission. Most people assume that when we're channeling, that means ultimate truth, but it doesn't. It's just another level of information and another perspective. So what we want to do is we want to listen viscerally. So visceral means organ. It means our internal systems. Going back to what I said in the very first clip, we've all had a situation, I'm sure, where our stomach has turned, something hasn't felt right, our intuition goes off, we feel, that apprehension, we feel nauseated, headaches come on. When these things happen, it is our body screaming at us saying something is up, listen up, put your radars up, we need to pay attention. Listening viscerally is so important because our organs, our hormonal glands, our nerves also read the different dimensions from 1 to 12 and deliver the data through different systems and pathways in our body. This is kind of how acupuncture gets its work across, or Ayurvedic medicine, or Tao principles, where we're working with chi or prana. This is a lot of where these principles come from, is that the body creates pathways. But not only does the body create pathways, it reads and emits data, information, stories through these energetic gateways. And it can, as it's reading information, give us a perception of a negative feeling so that we hopefully pay attention and we start sitting up and going, whoa, what is this about? So the important question I need you guys to be setting in with when you're listening to all of these different channelers, even me, we should be listening viscerally to everybody, regardless of how awesome we think they are, is we want to check in and how is our body responding? There's a big difference between feeling nauseated and sick and nervous and apprehensive. Nerves often indicate we're about to take a leap. Feeling nauseated and sick often indicates that something's wrong, something's not up, this isn't in alignment. So listening viscerally, ways you can practice this is just every time you get, a headache or a stomach ache, or your belly's starting to roll, indigestion comes in, you get a rash even, your eyes start going funny. The first thing you want to ask is, truth, body, is there something up that I need to pay attention to right now? The next thing you want to ask is, hey body, is this even mine? Because sometimes the energy that's coming in at us is just what we're reading through some of our empathic nature, and it's not even for us to have to deal with. We just happen to pick it up. When we ask, truth, is this even mine? We can go back to that initial truth testing radar with our body that we talked about in clip 1. You can ask, truth, is this mine? And if your body says no, maybe it'll back away. Truth, is this mine? Yep, okay. If it's yours, then we need to go into some of the other tools. We might be looking at emotion release. We might be looking at cords and contracts. We might be looking at entities, walk-ins, new guides coming in, hijack threads, cords and contracts. It's any myriad of things that could be coming. This is something I talk heavily about in my decodes programs, but we want to check in and use our tools to figure out what's going on here, because I'm willing to bet that 99% of the time when we don't feel that well, it's not because we're actually sick, it's because we're picking up on something our body is asking us to look at. So I would love for you guys to try truth testing and viscerally following the reactions to see how often your body is actually responding to information that isn't even yours. This can help you bypass a world of illness. Think about this. If your body gives you a headache at some point, and I'm not talking about those cool crown expanding ones and your third eye starting to pulse and, you know, the earring. I'm talking about the ones that knock you on your feet, where you've got like that stabbing pain or the pressure, or you just feel like things are so intense. If your body's giving you this headache and the first words out of your mouth are, I have a headache, you have sealed to your body, I see the pain, I'm owning it, now let's follow through with my self-diagnosis. But instead, if you had that headache come on and you said, is this even mine? Nope. Body, is there something I need to pay attention to? Yep. Okay. Is there energy around me that I need to be wary of? Yep. Okay. Then we know that we can put our radar up and we can ask our body, hey, body, what would it take for you to transmute and move this headache out now that I'm aware? Okay. So this is an amazing tool, number one, to acknowledge and understand the different sensations that are starting to arrive in our bodies, especially as we're waking up, because the first step in waking up typically happens with most people becoming highly empathic. But the second part is, we don't need to suffer. And once we understand that concept, our awakening becomes so much easier. All right, those are the 3 tools I'm going to give you guys for right now. I'd love for you to get to work with them. Give me some ideas, ask your questions, make sure you support one another. Let's go deeper with this concept, and I hope this helps. See you all over in the group.